All right. Welcome to Wednesday Evening Encore. I'm your host, Christopher D. Thomas. I hope everyone are doing well. Let me start off with a question that may sting a little. If Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, X, any other platform of social media, if it was to shut down tomorrow, would your business survive? Would your brand survive? Reason I ask that because here's the truth. The algorithm doesn't care about your passion. It doesn't care how long it took for you to write that caption, how long it took for you to create that video, how personal that video was, how authentic you felt that you were putting yourself into that particular video. It only cares about one thing: how to keep people scrolling, how to consume their time. That's the only thing that all the social media platforms out there, that's where their goal is. So if your business depends on the algorithm's mood swings, you don't have a business. You've got a digital gamble. And you are playing it daily, even though you're not aware of it. So let's talk about the thing that nobody wants to admit. You're putting out content, you're doing all the right things, but your reach is shrinking. Your engagement is quiet, and your bank account doesn't care how many likes you got. You're tired of shouting into this whole digital void, hoping, and I'll say hoping, that your post will be that one post will be the one that's going to change everything. Now, does that sound familiar? The real plane is not the algorithm. It's watching your brilliance be ignored because you've been trained to chase trends instead of building systems that sell, no matter, what platform you're on. And I get it. You've worked with, uh, you've put in your work, you're being authentic, but I get it. I do get it. Reason I get it is because I've worked with women entrepreneurs, women brands that have literally been brilliant. They've been visionary creatives, they've been coaches, they've been founders, CEOs, and whose revenue lives and dies by the mood of the algorithm. And that's how they've built their brand. Often they feel trapped, they feel overwhelmed, they feel underpaid, not because they lack the talent, but because they're depending on a machine to recognize it. But that's going to end right now. That's going to end right now. Right now, you're going to learn how to monetize even when your reach tanks. Even if that story didn't do so well, that reel didn't do so well, that post on YouTube didn't get the amount of views that you were hoping that you were going to get. And it is possible. Yes, it is powerful. And no, you don't have to go viral to get paid. So here's the problem. When your income is tied to your visibility, every post seems like a performance. And what happens is that you become the product versus being the producer. You start to chase validation instead of building the leverage. And while that's happening, you're watching others who are less talented than you are, less experienced than you are, and have less integrity in closing and working with clients than you, they're launching more offers, they're scaling their business because they're playing a different game. And we all hear that consistency is key, which consistency is very important, but your consistency doesn't seem to be working. And it's not because you're inconsistent, but because consistency without conversion strategy is just public burnout. The key is being consistent, yet you want your views to be to convert. Now, how do you solve that? What is the solution? Well, it's what I'm going to call an algorithm proof brand ecosystem that keeps selling even when your stories only get 12 views. Even when your reach it tanks. And even if you decide to take a week off, it's still going to work. Now, what we're going to discuss next is what to do, when to do it, why to do it, and then what to expect. Now, I'm going to give everything this to you straight. This is not going to be any fluff. We're going to get right on in because we don't have a whole lot of time here. Yet I want to ensure that the information that I share with you is one that's going to be beneficial, helpful, and do what it needs to do to take your business, your brand to next level. So what to do? Build a brand assets that convert on autopilot. And we're not talking about just content. We're talking about systems that nurture, systems that close. Now, when do you do that? The second that you realize that social media is not your business model, it's your billboard, and you're going to use it to drive traffic to something that's stronger. Now, why do you do it? You do it because every day that you realize that you're relying on the algorithm is the day your revenue is at the mercy of something that you cannot control. Now, we've discussed what to do, when to do it, why to do it. Now, when you do all of that, what are you going to expect? Well, you can expect the following things. When you create an algorithm proof monetization system, one, you sell even when your content flops. Two, you launch without starting over. Three, you become a brand people can remember even if you're not on their screen. There's a case study that I want to share with you. And this is a woman by the name of Maya. First, I'm gonna start off with a kind of a metaphoric type of a thing. And I was thinking about this. I was uh, some of you who, if you read the scriptures, not there's a scripture that talks about seeds that fell on different types of soil, and I decided to use a part of that, as far as in a kind of a metaphoric type of uh, a story to share with you. Imagine that your brand is a beautiful garden. All right. You plant seeds. In this case, your seeds are your post. You water it. And in this case, your watering is going to be the engagement. And then you wait. But the garden is built on rented soil. It's not even yours. And that rented soil is Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's their algorithm, or TikTok. It's their algorithm. One shift in the weather and you're wiped out. Now, what I want you to do now is to imagine you building a greenhouse. That greenhouse It's going to consist of your email list, your brand voice, your product suite, your evergreen offer. All of that is going to be algorithm proof. That's nothing that any of those platforms can even control. Now, there's a client that we've been working with. Her name is Maya. Maya happens to be a wellness coach, and we helped her shift some things around in a matter of only about 4 weeks. Uh, Her reels went from 10,000 views to 800 views. Guess what? She still had a $12,000 month. Why? Because her systems were not seasonal. She has some good systems, in place. Now, for a more extensive breakdown on how this all works, we actually published a blog post earlier this week. And for those of you who are on Instagram, I go into more detail about about the topic of what we're speaking about this evening. Those of you on Instagram, you can click on in my bio. Once I'm complete, you could click on my bio and you'll see a link that says blog, BLOG. Those of you who are tuning in on YouTube, the link will be in the video description, and it'll give you more steps, more in-depth content and information about the steps that I'm speaking about. Now, I've been sharing with you over the past few weeks. There was something that we're going to be producing, and we've called it the Brand Brilliance Blueprint. And this is exactly what the Brand Brilliance Blueprint was created for. It's it's one of our newest resources for women entrepreneurs who are done blending in, who are done blending in. It's done with who are done with being underpaid, who's done with letting social media dictate their paycheck. This blueprint gives you the strategy, the confidence, the clarity to build a brand that sells without relying on being viral or the number of likes and the shares that you have on social media for your particular your posts. It's the Brand Brilliance Blueprint is very raw. It's real. It's built for women who refuse to be filtered into silence. Now, here's the moment where I shift from encouraging you to expecting. Now, I don't expect you to go viral, but I do expect you to lead with value. I expect you to stop waiting to be discovered. Start building something worth being remembered. So this is what I want you to do next. I want you to book a free 15-minute consultation with me or someone on our team, and you will be able to see that link. And for those of you who are on Instagram, you'll see that link also in my bio as well. And those of you on YouTube, you will see that particular link in the video, the video description. Because, you know, this conversation, even though we're getting to the end of this particular video, the conversation is not over. We're just beginning this. So next Wednesday, we're stepping into the shadows. And we're going to talk about how to revive a dead product in 7 days. We're going to call it offer nucremacy. Offer nucremacy. Reviving a dead product in 7 days. Maybe you have a course that seemingly flopped or you didn't launch. Maybe you have an ebook that's collecting dust. We worked with a client in Huntsville a few years ago who, when I found out that she had an entire book that that was published, had been copywritten and everything, and she wasn't using it, and we relaunched that thing and made it into where it was featured on New York Times Square, and increased her sales on a global scale. So uh, we're going to show you the importance of how you can revive a dead product in 7 days and turn it into some income. So what I want you to do now is to turn on your notifications. You definitely want to watch that one. Now remember, the algorithm doesn't owe you anything, but your future audience, they're waiting for you to stop posting and to start positioning. It's time now to create success that doesn't need permission from any particular platform. All right. So it's time to sell even when the reach tanks. It's time to build that brilliance, to be unfiltered, to be undeniable. And I'm your host, Christopher D. Thomas. And you have been tuning in to Wednesday Evening Encore. I appreciate you tuning in. Please follow, share, save, turn on notifications. Remember, your brilliance isn't optional, it's overdue.